Hey, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man. Thanks for coming to watch us on the YouTube network. So, today we're talking about the Polk S20s. Alright? What do we do here? We talk about high value audio equipment. That sounds great, and in many cases outperforms much more expensive alternatives. Alright, we're honest here. We're unscripted, and most of all, we're unprepared. So, grab a cup of coffee, sit down, and let's talk about the Polk S20s. Alright, so, Polk S20s. First, I got a lot of comments about what the poster was behind me because some people thought it was a bondage poster. And while yes, there is a female that it seems to be bound at the feet and behind her back, that's actually a Metallica poster from the Dallas concert, Arlington, Texas. Hardwired tour. Yeah. From 2017. Okay, also, I'm all about constructive criticism, and more than one person commented on how gross it sounded when I drank coffee. And I've edited that out, or at least I've tried to edit it out. But still, they said that because the microphone was near my throat, they could hear stuff. So, microphone's on the monkey. Okay? So we're going to see how that turns out. Hopefully it turns out well. And I plugged it into the headphone, the microphone jack, not the headphone jack. Okay, let's just finally get into it and quit babbling around. All right, this is the Polk S20s. I've not been kind to Polk on my our channel. I've kind of pooped all over them, specifically the T15s and the S15s. Okay, and some people didn't particularly care for that. I'm going to move these back so maybe they'll be in focus with me. It's okay because I like these. They're very good. Just when I thought Polk couldn't do anything more stupid, they totally redeemed themselves with the S20s. And I know these have been out for a while, but you can still get them all over the place. So let's talk about build quality. They have magnetic grills, which are pretty cool. 6.5-inch woofer. I don't like touch it. Soft dome tweeter, 1-inch. And these are in a specifically nice wood, fake wood. We're going to call it walnut. Okay? So they've got rounded edges. I'm actually trying to bring them up because I forgot to write down their specs. Polk S20. Like I said, we're unprepared here. Polk S20 specs. Okay, so they're rounded. They got this plastic baffle, which some people criticize. I actually kind of think it looks cool. You can see the fasteners here. And a little waveguide. Little tweeter waveguide. Let's talk about specifications because I just pulled it up. They are 88 dB, frequency response 39. Ladies and gentlemen, 39 hertz. Rarely do we see a specification that has a 3 in front of it on the low end for a bookshelf. Up to 40,000 hertz. 1-inch Terry Lean. High-res dome tweeter, 6.5-inch mica reinforced woofer. I'm going to do this again. Yep, I like doing that. Build quality. It's nice. It's got this plastic bracket on the back, just like the S15s. I will say that S15s did feel a lot more solid than these, simply because this is a lot bigger speaker. This is the same plastic bracket, made out of the same material. It's bigger, obviously, than the S15s. It's got some cool badging right here, but a really nice thing that Polk did was, I don't know if you can see it, we got this really nice seam going down the bottom. That's a nice extra touch by Polk, because most companies would actually hide that, but Polk, no. So hats off to Polk for having a very nice fake wood seam on the bottom of the speakers. That's where they sit, so you're not going to really see it, so it doesn't matter. I was making fun of Polk, actually, if you didn't get that. Alright. Build quality, it's fine. They're pretty inert. They're good. I mean, at the price. What is the price? Currently, these are $280, I believe. $279 a pair. Okay, good. All right, let's talk about Soundstage and Imaging. It's pretty good. I mean, it doesn't do anything outstanding. It's good. It's surprising. I'm actually surprised that it did as well as it did. Again, I haven't been like super kind to Polk. I just think they're unremarkable till now. So they soundstage fine. Okay, I will say when made it up to the right amp, they soundstage a lot better. Okay, we'll get to that in the final conclusions. It goes slightly wider. Sad but true. No, Wherever I May Roam by Metallica. It did everything it was supposed to do. All right. Gloria by the Lumineers. Very good job of giving us a width and depth, a feel of largeness. Okay. I found that they image and soundstage the best when they're actually pulled out from the wall. Now, they have a clamp on the back here, so that's obviously a design consideration with these speakers, that they can go on a wall. If you can get away with not putting them on a wall, I wouldn't do it. About 6-8 inches from the wall, and ever so slightly towed in. That's when I found the best imaging, the best sound stage. I mean, if imaging and soundstage are like that's a no-go. If a speaker doesn't do it well, you might not want to look at these. But there is a lot to like with this speaker. Okay? Yeah, all right. Let's talk about bass. Bass on these, rated down to 39. They go down to 39, if not lower, where you have them placed. I was a little bit concerned because I felt like the S15s, these little brother, I felt like were overly thick, bassy, if not boomy, on the low end. Pleasantly surprised. This is very well balanced. I wouldn't call this fast bass, but it's well balanced with the music to where you don't feel like, oh, this is anemic, and you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I can't hear any detail because the bass is so much. It's well done, well balanced. In this price range, I don't think you're gonna get like super accurate, super awesome bass. I mean, I think the bass on the Elec Debut B6.2s is faster. But yet, I don't think that the B6.2s is as balanced and as pleasing as this speaker is. But I don't want to get into that because we're going to get into that on Saturday or Sunday for the speaker shootout. The less than $300 Sunday or Saturday speaker shootout with 6.5-inch woofer. Which, by the way, so we have the two Elecs, Debut B6, Debut B6, Debut B6.2. We've got these Polks, the S20s. We need one more. So in the comments, tell me, what should I look at? There's a set of Cambridge Audio that's $299 on Amazon that has a 6.5-inch woofer and looks eerily almost identical to the Elec Debut B6.2. So let me know. If there's something I'm missing, let me know. Okay? But I got to get it quick. I got to spend some time with it before they battle it out and the speaker pit. What are we talking about? We're talking about bass. Bass is nice. Nice. Surprisingly, bass didn't get super boomy even when I had it shoved all the way up against the wall. I didn't hang these from the wall, but I did put them up against the wall to their just a slight little bit in between so they wouldn't resonate or something. Okay? So, bass is very good. Very nice. Very nice. Let's talk about mid-range. So, Highway to Hell by AC/DC. When the guitar comes in, I like it to be crispy and crackly. Crack. Like that, but better. These sounded a little bit veiled up with that when I ran it through the Emotiva TA100. However, when I connected this to the Anthem integrated 225, that went away. And that mid-range clarity came back. The one of the surprising things about this speaker for me was how the sound changes more than some other speakers changes when you have different electronics connected to it. Most of the gripes that I had about this speaker, even in regards to sound staging and imaging, really went away when I hooked it up to an Anthem, the Anthem integrated 225. Now, granted, that's in its day, that was a very expensive piece of equipment. But bear in mind that I would say a more detailed, maybe a more crispier amp is going to pair very well with these. Okay. Also, I reached out to Iota to try to review one of their amps. So, depending upon what they say, if they say go pack sand, y'all can rally for me. Contact Iota. We're not there yet though. We're not there yet. I'll let you know. Anyway, Highway to Hell, a little bit. The guitars were a little bit veiled on the Emotiva, not so on the integrated or on the Anthem. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The Emotiva did not pair well with this speaker for mid-range clarity. Okay. However, the synthesizer, it's a tongue twister. I'm trying to say that 3 times in a row. Was very present, palpable, and filled the room on either amp, really. But the clarity on the Anthem was something to behold. Ooh, hello, Adele. Even on the Emotiva, I'm not saying the Emotiva is not a good match for this. It's just you're not going to have as much mid-range clarity. I was hoping. So on Hello by Adele, on speakers that don't mid-range well, Adele's voice sounds veiled. And like there's some piano, like at the beginning until Adele's voice comes in. And I was just like, come on. You can do it. You can be not veiled by a sheet. She wasn't. On either amp. On the Anthem, she sounded clearer, more nuanced, more detailed. But I would hope so, because it's a more expensive amp. Come Away With Me by Norah Jones. It was lovely. Lovely. Sounded great. Sounded great. Let's talk about treble. Making sure my monkey microphone is still in its right position. I'm hopeful, because I don't want to do this again. It might be fun for me. I don't know. So, through the Emotiva TA100, I did notice some sibilance in Something in the Way by Nirvana off the MTV Unplugged record. Okay? However, when listening to Hey Jude, and the tambourine on that song is pretty present, it actually handled the tambourine pretty well. Okay, so what that tells me is somewhere in this treble response, there's some bumperoonies going on. And then King of Pain, Alanis Morissette, off of also the MTV Unplugged. I use MTV Unplugged records a lot because they're very well recorded. She was slightly sibilant at the beginning. Okay, that wasn't very much on the treble. The treble's good. I think it's bumped a little bit in the frequency response, but it's very good. These have pretty good off axis too, and I think that's due to the nice little wave guide they have. And I did notice when I stood up that they still sounded very good. Like on the Emotiva Airmotive B1 Plus, when I stood up on those, I mean, the treble just went away. So these do a pretty good job of being still sounding good, kind of regardless of where you're at compared to them. So what are my final thoughts? Super happy that I like these so much. It took me about 10 seconds to listen to the speaker, and I was like, okay. All right, Polk. You got me again. You're pulling me back in with this. One thing I like about this speaker is you get to feel the music without having to crank it super loud. Some speakers, in order to get that presence of the music, you have to turn them way up. And when you turn them way up, they don't always respond super well to that amount of power. They can get shouty, they can fall apart. Not these speakers, because they're already pretty good at low levels. They're already balanced. They have that little bit of thickness that I like. Okay. If this speaker likes anybody a lot, it likes Korn. That's right, Korn. It's a Korn speaker. Freak on a leash. Not the MTV Unplugged, which they also have a record on there. Check it out. The regular recorded version. They like it. It's very good. What this speaker lacks in mid-range clarity on certain amps, it replaces with a visceral presence that the other 6.5-inch woofer, well, I can't say that. We're going to save that for the speaker shootout. But what it lacks in mid-range clarity, it makes up for in presence and bass response. It's quite good. King of Nothing. Buttery bass, nice highs. It's a rock and roll speaker. It's a rock and roll speaker on lower levels of integrated amps. I can't say that. It's a rock and roll speaker on probably most amps. This is a full-on, doesn't matter the genre, it's going to sound awesome with anything on what I would call brighter amps, or amps that have a bit more top-end detail. So, analogy. This speaker went from a back alley brawler to a heavyweight tactician, depending upon what amp I had hooked up to it. It was strong, it was exciting, and it was effective with the Emotiva amp. It was a full-on, just incredible speaker with the Anthem. Placement for me where I felt like I got the best sound was pretty much straight out with just a titch of a toe in. And the thing I like, so I have the RTI A3s from Polk. My son has them. I had that whole line, or still have that whole line. It's just upstairs. And some of you, when you watch certain videos, you get to hear it because he likes to watch Lord of the Rings at super high volumes, and it has a lot of bass. So the cool thing is, even if you have this hooked up against, first of all, if you hang this from a wall, put some little foam coverings or something on there so it doesn't rattle around, because this thing does make the bass. And then if you want to tow it in, just put another little foamy on top of the other one, and it's just going to move in ever so slightly. And I did do that with the Polk RTI A3s. How's it do with audio file recordings? I don't know. I mean, what is an audio file recording? I would consider most of the MTV Unplugged records audio file recordings. I think this question is more to do with, is it super revealing that songs that aren't recorded well are going to sound bad? Or are you going to be able to hear that limitation? No, none of these. This is a good speaker. This is a versatile speaker. If that was annoying, I apologize. Versatile speaker. Okay? It's not the end all be all for clarity, but you can improve the clarity with the amp that you have on it. This is a speaker. First of all, I know I'm keeping this speaker. All right, there's no question. And the reason that there's no question is because this is going to go in my living room, where it's going to do very well with the cartoons that are on a loop in my household 24/7. Well, not 24/7. When the children are in school, cartoons are not on. But every now and again, I get the opportunity to listen to music in the living room. And it's a huge room with really tall ceilings. It needs a speaker that has some guts to it. And these are the ones. Okay? I had the ELAC debut B6s, the original, in there. But I felt like I was missing out on a little top end clarity. Not anymore. These are going in there. They're staying. I'm not selling them. And I'm going to enjoy them. I am so happy that I took a chance on these too, because I was like, you know what? So sorry. I'm pulling the microphone off the monkey microphone. I'm all caught up here. Oh, incidentally, this is not an ironing board. However, it's a sheet that looks identical to an old ironing board. It probably has, like, on the label where it says color, it's old ironing board is the color. Anyway, it's an old sheet that I put on here because I really care about production value. What was I saying? I don't remember. Now that I got all excited. Oh, I was talking about how excited I was for this speaker, how good it sounded. Immediately knew I liked it. And then started liking it more and more. And started, heard its limitations initially, but then was able to play around with it a bit, and most, if not all of those limitations went away. This is this speaker can punch you in the face. And then pick you up and take you out to a nice, dinner of fish and chips. Maybe a pint of your favorite lager. This is a nice speaker. I like it. You don't need towers. Let's get the S20s. $280. Yeah. Good value. It's good value. Depends on what you want. ELAC's debut B6.2, $250 right now. We'll say that speaker has some quirks. We'll talk about that in the shootout. This speaker, all around, set it, forget it, play movies, play music when you want, enjoy it, turn it up. Also, these play effortlessly at higher volumes. Effortlessly. I was pushing these well into the 80s, 80 dB SPL. Nothing. No limitations. No, I can't do that. Please stop doing that to me. None of that. They're like, give me some more. I can do it. I can do it. And they did do it. So, if you like my attitude towards audio and other stuff, like my quirky sense of humor, and like the fact that I'm completely unprepared for nearly all of my videos, then subscribe. We're building a little community here. We're not snobs. We can get good sounding music and movies and not spend a ton of money. And we're not going to look down on anybody because they have lower cost stuff. There's so much good stuff out here. Less than $500 for speakers. Less than $500 for integrated amps. Less than $500 for turntables. A lot of good stuff. If you want to try Amazon HD Music for free, there's a link in the description. You click on that link, scroll down to the bottom, hit Try HD. I put in my test track playlist. If you want to hear that, sign up for a free, I think it's 3 months free, trial of Amazon HD, Amazon HD Unlimited. Sign up, and then you can watch the playlist. You can listen to the playlist, and that's what I use. Songs are continually added. So, with that, I got some tendonitis in my elbow from my bare knuckle boxing. It's a hobby. It's a lot of fun on the weekends. It's good for the kids. Anyway, with that, I am Randy, and I am the Cheap Audio Man.